Bitcoin's trying to bump up on the year, and that's around 94,000. And then above that, it's got $100,000 resistance. So it's got walls of resistance. So it might be doing okay, but it's reminding me of how human nature and markets will never change, like you mentioned with some other companies that just, they get way too extended in bull markets. They expect it's never going to stop, and then when the music stops playing, the tide goes out, and to me, it's just getting started. So one thing that's really got way oversold is strategy. MicroStrategy was a great leading indicator. It got up to about 50% below its 200-day moving average. That was way oversold. It needs to bounce. Bear markets bounce. But by the end of the year, there's key things that need for Bitcoin to go higher. Number one, the stock market has to go up. It's so highly correlated, and that's getting a little dicey. Volatility has to stay low. 120-day volatility around 11% on the stock market. It's the lowest if it ends there since 2017. And the VIX has to go down. The VIX volatility index right around 16. The 200-day average is almost closer to 20. So all that stuff has to line up, and I think cryptos are leading the way lower. And I'll end with this. The Bloomberg Galaxy Crypto Index is down about 15% this year. So to me, we get lucky if Bitcoin does not become the Grinch for Christmas. I'm still sticking with it's going to be the Grinch.
So what's going on over at American Bitcoin? Of course, to start the week, we've been seeing really brutal declines, down about 16% on Monday, almost 40% of a decline yesterday. Now we're seeing it a bit in the green. But what was going on?
Well, one key thing I'll point out about, to me, in the macro is what's happening in space. My colleague, Andrew Silverman, penned an article recently, and his headline was, we have a resting president who's now a Bitcoin billionaire. That's never happened in history, and that's what's really shifted into space. This is all related to the Trump administration, and Trump administration officials. And that's what really got a lot of crypto people upset. In the past, they were getting away from the system. Now they're dependent on it, and if they're buying it and they're supporting prices, they're supporting the Trump administration. So that's what shifted, and all that stuff is mean reverting. Strategies in one example. The problem is there's probably a lot more room on the downside. There's still plenty of these millions of cryptos that are worth billions of dollars that track nothing. Yet we do have things like stable coins. There's about 300 billion of those. Those are pretty good. But to me, this is just getting started. And again, the bottom line is they're a great leading indicator for risk assets going up, and they're heading lower.
Mike, step back here in your global commodities coverage here. What's your 2026 theme? What are you asking people to pay attention to?
I'm really worried about the no man's land we reached in gold and silver. I mean, they're major bull markets, but there's only a few times in history we've got this stretch versus most moving averages. And this is when I turn off my fundamental hat and put my risk management hat. You have to be very careful here. And to me, the indication for commodities, by crude oil going down and gold going up, is we may be setting up for another deflationary cycle after inflation. That means stock market potentially getting in a kind of an indication from gold that it's going to head lower next year, which is what makes me worried about all commodities, particularly the economic sensitive one like copper and crude oil. And crude oil is a bear market.
I mean, what's your read on copper prices?
Well, it's having a good bounce now. We have some major supply constraints. Demand from China, is it there? And we also have U.S. tariffs. So right now, about $5.40 a pound in the U.S. I'm really afraid. Sure, number one key thing, just like Bitcoin, the stock market has to go up for copper to stay resilient. If we get it just to drop back to its 200-day moving average in the stock market, that's going to be a pressure factor on copper. So to me, the key thing is this industrial metal is going up with gold and all metals, but the risk is next year it reverts a little bit lower, as indicated by very low stock market volatility that has only one way, and that is to go up, which means pressure on copper.